Rio de Janeiro has a very strong bohemian culture. Since the 19th century, it is usual to see people sitting around the table, sharing drinks and, more importantly, sharing food. Even nowadays, it is very common to see Brazilian people drinking and sharing beers at bars at all times of day and night, and also at all days of the week. My name is Dana, and on this video I'll be telling you about some of the most traditional bar foods to try in Rio, as well as some of my favorite ones, so see if you can spot them. First one is pastel. Pastel is a deep fried dough that is kind of flaky, kind of crispy, with something melted inside that can be cheese, that can be minced meat, or some sweet flavors like banana, chocolate, strawberries. Typically, the largest size you can find on farmers market that I have a full video about here, not only about pastel, you can see me eating pastel there, but you can also see how farmers market work in Rio, what you can find, what types of fruits and vegetables. So it's a very good one if you want to check how that one looks like. However, the pastel as a bar food typically is much smaller in size, and also it comes in a portion of 6 or more. You can order them for yourself or you can order to share, typically that's how we do it. And some of the most common flavors are cheese, shrimps and minced meat. One of the best places for you to try that is called Bar do Adão, which has several branches across the city. The next one is bolinho de bacalhau. Even though it is a Portuguese food, it is a very traditional bar food in Rio due to our Portuguese heritage. It is a cod and potato cake that is deep fried and can be sold by the unit, so one of them, or can be sold as a portion of 6 or 12 usually. Another typical Brazilian bar food that you can find in Rio is one called patanisca. Patanisca is very similar to bolinho de bacalhau, but it doesn't have potato on its dough as bolinho de bacalhau does. You can find it at Pavão Azul, a very traditional bar in Copacabana. I've shown this bar to you in my video about Copacabana, so if you're interested in seeing more of the neighborhood, you can check that video out. However, that bar is like full every day, all day, especially in the evenings. So make sure to try that. The next one is salgadinhos. Salgadinhos is anything that is a small kind of deep fried or baked type of pastry, always savory, that is very popular in Brazil as a quick snack. One of the most famous ones you probably have heard of is coxinha, which is kind of a teardrop-shaped deep fried pastry filled with shredded chicken and sometimes cream cheese as well. Other popular options are empadas, which is kind of like a tart made with like some very buttery dough that can have a filling of chicken, palm heart, shrimps, or risole de camarão, which is also something very popular to find. You can find them in most bakeries, most places. However, it's very typical to find them in a bar. This perhaps is one of the only ones that is more common to find in a unit for you to eat by yourself, because most of the other ones you will find it as a portion so that you can share with the people at your table. The next one is sausages and pork knee. So I wanted to put these in because there are a couple of places that are very, very good in Rio for you to eat sausages. The Brazilian sausages are very different than anything I've tried elsewhere, like the barbecue sausages, so you might want to try some of them. And also the pork knee, which you can find at Enchendo Linguiça. They are a very traditional bar, everybody in Rio knows of. They currently have their main branch in a non-touristic neighborhood, Grajaú. However, I think they recently opened a kiosk in Copacabana. By the way, none of the places I'm telling you about is sponsored. It's just like really the places in Rio go to or know of or been to. So I'm telling you as a local where we typically go for bar food. Another popular option is garlic bread on the charcoal grill. Garlic bread is very, very common when you're having barbecue, but you can also find it in many bars that just as a side or it's by itself, you can have it sliced in pieces and share it with your colleagues. It's very tasty because the charcoal really gives a different taste to the garlic bread, so you might want to try that one. Speaking about charcoal grill, another one that is very typical as well is picanha, but not as a barbecue main meal, but as a bar food. It usually comes in a very hot stone tray that is still sizzling, and you can just cut in slices at the table, or sometimes the waiter or waitress will do that for you. And those slices you can get with your fingers or with a fork and share amongst your table. So as I said, in Brazil it is very common for everybody to eat out of that same table, especially if you're talking about a bar type of food. The next one is probably another one that is very traditional, which is called frango a passarinho. Frango a passarinho is a deep fried cubes of chicken that are seasoned with garlic and parsley or cilantro. I'm not too sure what it is, but it's some green herb on top of it, which is very tasty. You can find it pretty much in any bar you go. So any of them, like Belmonte, which has a big one in front of the beach, or any other bar that you go that is a little bit more upscale, you usually, especially in Rio, you will find frango a passarinho. If you want to try that, it's very good. Albeit it might be a little bit dry for some people, but you should try it with some sauce. Typically they might have either some spicy sauce or some mayo. So it's very, very good, very tasty. Make sure to try that. All of this food comes together with cold beer, and that you will notice in Brazil, you don't typically have your own kind of small bottle for yourself. Typically, you will have a large bottle of beer that is put at the table for everybody to share on small glasses. The beer is usually almost freezing cold, and if it is fresh or lukewarm, you can call the waiter back and ask them to change it for you, because in Brazil, beer that is not very, very cold, close to 0 degrees Celsius, which I have no idea how much that is in Fahrenheit, you can call them and ask them to change it for you. What I'm trying to say here is that not only the food, but the drinks as well, they are typically supposed to be enjoyed as a group. I think it's just part of our culture to like really make sure you are experiencing a bar as a local. Make sure to hone in on the communal vibe that is the experience of going to a bar and sharing food and sharing drinks. The other drink I wanted to speak about, and that one you can have it for yourself, we allow it, will be caipirinha. You know that one, everybody heard of that. The drink made with cachaça, our national liquor or spirit, depending if you're in the UK or the US, and lime. What I wanted to say is that in Brazil, you can also try it with different types of spirits. So you can have it with vodka or sake, and you can also have it with different types of fruits. So you can have it with tangerine, with passion fruit, with watermelon, with all sorts of other fruits. So make sure to try the other options and see if you find something that you like the most. If you get all of these and you combine them differently, it's pretty much infinite amount of caipirinha types you can find. Typically they're best enjoyed at the beach in one of the kiosks, or even at the stand as well. You're gonna see people selling those, even though I'm not too sure about the alcohol quality for that one, but so far I haven't heard too many bad things, so you might wanna try that. But the ones at the bars, at the boardwalk, might be a safer bet. Now, one other one as I wanted to mention is roasted peanuts, which for most of you won't sound like something very special. The thing is, you might maybe see people selling them, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about. You will see people coming from table to table on the streets as you're sitting at a bar with kind of a conical paper shaped thing, selling you something. Those are roasted peanuts, and you can buy from them. Usually the waiters don't have a problem if you want to buy something from them. They will put like some samples for you to try, and then leave it there for a while and then come back to ask if you want to buy it. Typically, if you do not want to buy it, you just don't touch it and they will take it away. But if you do want to buy it, you're free to eat it and then grab some for you. You can buy, like, usually they make a better price if you buy 3 or 5, but you can buy just one if you just want to try it. These are only the bar foods that I'm talking about. Obviously, we still have the foods that are kind of the national dishes like feijoada, like barbecue, churrasco. So I didn't even touch those. And we also have like this complete other set of foods, which is like street food, which is where like I would put the food you can find at the beach, the food you can find with street vendors that I didn't even talk about. So we have loads of typical foods. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see any of these other lists. I'm happy to put them together for you. Or if you want, you can check these other videos out here that I think you will like. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye!